Hi, today we are looking inside the arrangements of the new Carach Angren EP, The Cult of Kariba. Today I had a session with Clemens Wijers and he walked me through how orchestral and synth layers were built. Let's dive in. Hi Clemens.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm fine. How are you? How is the weather in Costa Rica?
It's cold today.
It's cold.
A little bit. It's a little bit cold, but nothing compared to Europe. Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to what you're going to share with us.
So this is one of the songs, Draw Blood, from our latest release. This is actually the last form it was in, because what happens usually is that these songs, throughout the time that you're working on it, the project evolves. So at least in my case, at some point I throw things out that I don't use. So this is the one that I sent to you, like when I bounce everything into stems. I thought it would be interesting to have a look, because I think a lot of people don't realize what's going on behind the machine, so to say. So yeah, as you can see here, like this is already pretty neat. Like I have folders here, and I have to say, like, I used to have big templates, like orchestral templates. Like when you go on YouTube or online, a lot of guys will advocate for this, like, build your template. I have been doing that, but I always fail at it, because in the end I always need something else, and it becomes a big mess. And I don't. So now I'm like in this more time-consuming mode of I always build my project up from the ground. So I add something, I add the cellos, but it works better because every song to me is also different, and it also leads to like more original results.
Why would you have like 15 empty tracks eating up resource on the computer and not doing anything?
I mean, there are ways that you can like offload them, like you can have them ready and activate them once you use them. There is ways and stuff, but yeah, I'm a bit chaotic with that, in the sense that, like, or intuitive is maybe the better word, like. So, but this is already pretty neat, because once I export, for example, to go to you in this case, then yeah, I want it to be clean and
me too.
And not make groups. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that takes, quite some time usually, because then you go over your painting and you have to frame it.
But I must say your files were excellent, because I'm used to every kind of chaotic stuff that I'm getting sent. And but here I don't think that I had any wish of any revision for anything.
No, it went smooth as usual. Yeah. But now for the video, it's also nice to just show what I have. So for example, here you see even like drum computer parts, like that happens from the beginning when composing. I already put like bass here, MIDI bass, drum computer. There is some Seragor guitars already here, and like demo stuff, vocals demo. So that's
to
all
get the full picture.
now.
You need this to compose around, sure.
Yeah. So, and this is basically the orchestral stuff and the effects. I can play a little bit from the beginning. I would like to go a little bit into the intro, because it has a lot of cool layers, so I can show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like pretty dark, and
who is the grandpa? The
that's me.
What?
Yeah. It sounds really weird, but so yeah, sometimes I get an idea for this. It was like I wanted to sound like evil, but like from another world, like a cult, like some kind of chant in the. So I just start like in a microphone that I have lying around, and then I start like doing a weird sound or in that sense, and then I start transforming it or like applying some effects. And let me see where this is the main one. Let me listen. Yeah. So that one is like I do something very low, like that. And I put even a pitch shifter on top. And I think there is some reversing going on, so to make it more like unnatural. I think this is the reversed one. Let me see. And it has some more reverbs and stuff going on. So yeah,
Reverse often gives like a creepy atmosphere.
Yeah, I wanted to be really creepy, like not that it was a voice or something. I mean, it is a voice, but I wanted to be almost unrecognizable, like what's going on there. So I think this was the start of this part, and then I wanted it to be rhythmic, like that it's going to build tension. So I put some dissonant, like simple cello, like this. Very simple, but
but they are half tone apart, so that makes it like a rubbing dissonance.
Yeah, like I always play everything. I have my piano to the right. A lot of guys have it in front, but I don't like to play into the computer. Like,
are you not clicking in stuff with the mouse?
Not a lot, no.
But maybe quantizing sometimes or moving stuff around.
Yeah, like this, like for example, velocity I can adjust in a row, or like if I want, you can do here like a build up, or you can build it down. You see, like this. Like,
yeah, you are able to play keys, so why not take advantage? So it keeps some liveliness and it's not completely robotic.
Exactly,
straight.
Especially for the velocities per note, it already has some natural variance, and then you don't have to emulate that a lot. Like, yeah, here's just a simple chord, also dissonant with the squires. So if you take those two, it's like sounds pretty like dissonant already.
It's creepy, yeah.
And here it's like also choirs, but I put like a chopper on it, so it's like doing this, and it gives like a digital but also a strange effect. Like it's almost like techno if you listen to it in solo. Like.
So that was not a ready loop?
No.
You built it from a choir?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think it's one of these actually, and then there's a delay and there's a chopper.
Okay.
Like I think there's something like this. Like, let me see where
a crystallizer or something.
Something like this. There's like, and then you can do it like a square that it cuts off, and then I don't know what it does on top of this now. But... Oh yeah,
panning.
Panning, yeah, in that sense. And you can do depth, speed. You see, like. I like to just play around with that just to get also like original sounds, because I mean, we as composers and musicians, like a lot of guys, we're all using the same stuff and libraries and instruments.
Preset 17 all the time.
Preset 17, yeah. And sometimes it's fine, but I always try to.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you don't need to. It's really great as it is out of the box, but it's always cool to try to give it some more context.
That's the main thing, to have like a sonic identity, or you have something unique that nobody else has.
Yeah, and this I wanted to, for example, this is an intro, so it's very important. Like, it has to set the stage immediately, and like, I wanted to be like, what's going on there? Like, okay, you have some choirs and there is some cello, but there's also some weird stuff. Like, and I think that's pretty cool. That's also keeping you sort of glued to the song already from the beginning. Like, if you want to listen, like, what is that? And then I pan it, like some things I put on the right and the left, and you usually take that further when you start in the mixing process. You those things out really great, so that's cool. But yeah, so this is an example. But like, if you listen to it on solo, it doesn't mean a lot. Like, it's just a weird sound, but in the context, like, it works. So, yeah. Here is even more like this is like a close mic'd cello. Actually, a free plugin for the plugin guys. Doesn't always have to be a paid library. Also a dissonance thing here. Yeah,
it's like a little cluster, staccato
little cluster. Yeah, like C sharp, D sharp, G sharp. This one is in double tempo, so it's when you mute it, it's like it works really well with the other one we have, like this too. Yeah, and it's like left right, so there's like building the tension.
Nice and grippy, the sound.
Yeah. I like the dry sounds often, especially for parts like this. It's more like it has some bite. You hear some string sounds from the cello in this case, and
also having like difference between big sounds and intimate sounds. You create depth and width. If everything is big, then everything is small, basically.
Yeah, that's very right. Yeah. And here we are at the beginning of the song, so you're building up. If you go immediately with the full thing, I mean, it's a choice, of course, but it can already, like, yeah, what you're going to do next.
Cut down everything so that you can build up again, yeah.
But it's something I think about in that sense. And also, like, this is more creepy. Like, it's like, it's pretty close. It's not like you're in a concert hall, but it's like someone
is playing right into your face.
Yeah. And here we have some orchestral bass, also building tension together with these. It's like, so you have a little rhythm section. So yeah, that's all I listen to sometimes. You can also use something from drums or like, but I like this one. There's some whole sound around it. So this one is actually more in the background. Yeah. But it works well. Like I do that often. Like I solo the rhythm section. In this case, it's just these kind of things. And then I think, yeah, it's all working together.
It's nice, really a unique sounding thing. It's not preset 17.
Exactly, that's what I'm always aiming for. Like when you go really into it, you can say, okay, this is from this library and this is that, but like the combination makes it like more like fluid in that sense. And here's something also funny. I had an acoustic guitar laying around. I think I was just hitting it with something. I think that works with this one, like, yeah, gives it some extra, like, and then here is just a basic synthesizer pad, creepy. Yeah, and it goes on a long time, it's a long tail. Just for atmosphere, like to have it creepy, there's a lot of dissonance in there as well. And here's the didgeridoo. It's a very basic thing.
It's adding nicely to the grandpa voice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing special. I think this is even from Cubase, like just didgeridoo. Yeah, because I wanted to have some kind of a cult vibe. And I mean, this is more an exotic instrument in that sense, but I didn't want it to be like in your face, but I just wanted it to be working with in this case, the synth. If you solo them, like, I think it's cool.
It's also not perfectly in tune, the didgeridoo, which also adds to the creepiness a little bit.
Yeah. And then here is like, I say hex, which is witch, new hex. So that's what I do too. Like I sometimes name tracks already in the context of the song. Like this is also choirs originally. Let me see. Yeah, so this was also a choir. It's already processed and printed, but I took it and then I did some multi-tap delay. Like, then you can just make it go everywhere and do creepy effects with it. I wanted it to be like coming and going. So it's like they're trying to resurrect the witch. And it's like, so in context, it's like, thought it was pretty cool.
It's occupying a region where nothing else is going on. So this is also the big challenge. Exactly. If you layer like 57 sounds, that every bit has its own space where it can exist without being cluttered up by everything else.
Yeah, that's a very good point what you're saying there, because it's easy to just put things on top of each other, but here there is actually space for something to really stand out and you can make it point at you. And I think also like the funny thing here is that there's a lot of low stuff and there's some high stuff, like with the And it leaves some room for the song also to kick in. So that's the cool thing with an intro.
There's a lot to think about, really. That's sometimes when I get stuff to mix, it's not really well thought out. So it's like you have an electric bass, a contrabass, and you have a tuba playing at the same time, slightly different notes and stuff. So it's really messy.
Yeah.
The art of composing well is like really... Yeah, so everything can coexist with everything else, and they interact nicely with another, but not like fighting with each other.
Exactly. That's why I was also mentioning sometimes in these cases I have even more, but I would kick it out, or maybe in the end you would dock some things a little bit more back, like in the final stage, and bring something. I think you even like at some point brought something more forward, like towards the end, and that created a cool effect. I remember that you did that in the intro. So, and but yeah, in that sense, also the arranging, the composing, there's like overlap. I'm already thinking also about the end result and that things cannot really conflict. Like, I mean, for example, you have those bass sounds here. There's already 3. If you're gonna add a tuba, what you were saying, or something else, it might clutter it. And then it's like, is it really necessary or not? But in the end, I mean, we're talking rationally now. It's like, but when I'm making this, I'm not really thinking actively about it. It's more like intuitive. It's like, oh wow, this sounds creepy, and it's building and everything is nice, and I feel it's working, and then you leave it. So it's like trial and error. It's like improvisation.
Just go with the flow sometimes, yeah. The average listener is not aware how many layers there are sometimes when they listen to a song and they think, yeah, that's pretty easy. That's just 3 chords or something. But then if you open up the project and you see that it's a bazillion tracks and everything interacts, and there's been a lot of effort put in just to create this one piece.
Exactly, yeah, you're right. And it's also like sculpting. Sometimes there is even more. Like I might work on this and then the next day come back and think like, yeah, those 2-3 things, that was too much, and I kick them out again.
Are you doing something like this, let's say this intro part, these 16 bars or what it is, are you doing this in like an afternoon and then it's done? Or is that like an hour here, an hour there, just coming back and forth and see how it feels?
It depends, like per song, for example. One of the other songs, the Ik kom uit het graf, that was kind of a flow, like in 1 or 2 days, like everything came out like in this inspirational flow. And this one, I think the bass also, but I fine-tuned it. So I would go back and then listen like, oh, maybe something's missing here, add it, pan it a bit to the left. So, but the basic idea usually is there pretty quickly. But I might, like, I think in this case, I added some things and changed some things a little bit. So then I would go back into it. Because sometimes also, I mean, this EP took some years. So this song is also a couple of years old already. And then, for example, at some point, you might have new vocals or lyrics. You go back into it and you think, oh, you know, this might be better. And you change it a little bit. But usually the core, it goes pretty quickly. Yeah.
Can be dangerous to work over a long period of time on projects, because either you get fed up with it, or you always find something else that you are not satisfied with, and you will never end, basically.
Yeah.
Is that a reason why some projects just take a little bit of time, because you just don't feel that it's finished yet, and you only want to release like to your highest standard, and if it doesn't feel ready yet, you cannot put it out?
Yeah. I actually also have a lot of things that get never released. For example, in the Carach folder, there are many like songs and things I started exactly like this. And when you open it, you might think, oh, it's actually cool, it's not bad. But for some reason, I felt like, it doesn't do anything, you know, like, or it's not ready. Maybe in a couple of years, I might go back. But
that will be for the 30th anniversary, the unreleased folders, extra super
when the
vinyl
label needs
version.
something.
The bonus,
the new
bonus material.
Vinyl, no, but I mean, it is. And sometimes you might open that and think, oh, wow, it's actually not so bad. But what you're saying is right. Sometimes you work so long, like recently I was also working on something and you just don't hear it anymore. And then 2 days later you come back and your ears I'll reset and you're like, oh my God, what is this? You know, so I think it's really great to take long breaks and focus on it.
The same goes for mixing sometimes. If you feel like you don't know anymore, you just let it rest for a day or two and come back, and then it will tell you what it wants to be done.
And then this is also great, like once I'm done with this and I send it to you, I know you have the fresh perspective, and I'm always like, it's like waiting for Christmas, like what you gonna...
Hopefully it's not like the self-made sweater from grandma that you didn't want to have.
No, it's always great. No, that's always great. But you see that I do some processing and things you might also do during mixing, but I always work up until the point that I'm like, now I really don't know anymore. I think it's great. And then it's great to have someone else, in this case you, to take it to the next level even. Like, and it's more like, for something like this, you can go on and on. You can add another layer. You can do it now. You can add a piano. But it's always a feeling like, I think now it's done.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain that, but it's usually that moment that you start like going around in a session like this and trying. And usually when you try 2, 3, 4 things, like when I feel like everything's there, or when I start to be annoyed, when I put something else, it's like, it's too much. And a thing like this, it builds up, like it's creepy, then there's a rhythm coming, and it builds up and it goes into the song. So when you do something rhythmic too early, it starts to it irritates me. So then I kick it out. Or like when there's too much evil sounds going on, it's like, I kick it out. So
and you start getting scared by your own arrangement when it's too evil.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling. You're like, no, this sucks. And this is always a thing, because it's a trap to start to think what other people might think, because you'll never know. Like, I can only do it the way I like it. Like, I'm listening, like, this works, it gives tension, and I think it's great, and then you're done. And someone else might say it's great, someone else might say, I don't like it, or
whatever you do, that you cannot please everyone. That's why you should not even start thinking about pleasing everyone. You should please yourself. It's easy to be like criticizing artists, like, it's always the same, or it's not what I expected. I want more Lammendam. I want less Lammendam. Whatever you do, there's always going to be somebody who is not satisfied. Oh, it's just an EP. But sometimes a story is just told within a short novel. It was not supposed to be like a 580 pages book. So some things just need to be the way they need to be, and we can only hope for the best, right?
Exactly, yeah. And for me, it's very personal, this, because what I said, this project is years old, and been working hours on it, many hours, and it starts usually like this. Like, so it's cool that you're doing this video, that we're doing this. Like, it gives really an insight. Like, this is what it is. Like, this is how it starts. Recording a weird voice, changing it, drinking some coffee, closing the project, coming back to it. That's basically how it starts. Like, thinking about it. Like, I also take breaks, go into the forest here, whatever, and then you might come back inspired again. And then now it's out there, and people have the end result, and they enjoy it, and that's how it should be. And then once it goes into the song, I mean, this is drum computer, and I can just, for the fun of it, let me see, vocals, nah. I mean, that's very demo-ish, but
I think also this is really interesting, maybe for the viewers to hear where everything is coming from. It's not coming out like super hi-fi. So this is, everything needs to start somewhere. Also, if somebody is maybe new to composing and to arranging stuff, just at some point it's rough and it's ugly and it's dirty, but you need to start somewhere. You cannot start super polished right away.
No. So I have drums already here, like I program them, and then the bass, I program it, I play it, and then quantize it and stuff like that. And because I'm always looking at the whole arrangement, and then you come, for example, if we listen now, here it's just some horns and the creepy choir going on. And then the rhythm section is essentially the drums and the bass, like. So then I also keep track of like, then I'm not, what I was saying before, like over arranging, like putting a bunch of, for example, orchestral bass here wouldn't make any sense.
That would be hard to mix later also, yeah.
Yeah, exactly like that. And I sometimes see like, or I hear bands or like, and they have like, I mean, this is a lot of tracks, but they have hundreds of stuff. And to me, it's like when there's double bass, like at going at a super fast rate, and there's a bass guitar, like how are you going to put in those low contrabass note? What are you going to?
You're not.
You know,
it's
you're not.
It's like an old mixing rule. There is no real rule, but if you want to get like a large, big, tight, low end, then you just have like one or two elements, maybe the bass drum and one bass. And that's it, because if you have too much, then it's cluttered and you cannot pump it up anymore. But if you have like one good bass and one percussive element down there, then you can really blow it up and make it huge and fat.
Yeah. So and for example, with this part, like this is going in, like everything's fast and big, and the funny thing is that the orchestra sounds very big, but it's also a little bit of an illusion, because if you listen, there's not so much. So there's only like the horns, some trombones, but because the bass drum and the guitars are filling in the rest, it gives this illusion of like there's also a big orchestra. And I mean, there is big horns and stuff, but you don't need a bunch of violins and a bunch of cello there and a bunch of other stuff. But so it's always this less is more. It's like what I'm always trying to do, like take it out if it doesn't work in the arrangement and in the composition.
Even if it's just one instrument, they have a lot of lows, they have the whole mid-range, they have a lot of highs, so it's already filling up a lot of space. Interestingly, I got a track to mix yesterday. Well, I started mixing it yesterday, and there were added strings, and it was really like, you could really hear that it was like played like with the keyboards, like the 10-finger chords, so that no orchestra would ever play a string section like this, like with 5-6 notes playing at the same time, except if you want to build a cluster or something. But normally you would only have like one line or two lines and they complement each other, but not like the 10-finger chord on the keyboard. So
I always think about the instruments, like what can they do? Like I learn about it, like I have a book on orchestration, and I sometimes open it, and I'm working on something now for another band, and I wanted to double the horn. It was a quiet horn, and I wanted to double it with flute. And then I was like, okay, but is that also something that you would do in real life? So I was looking in the literature, and it's like, it's perfectly fine, or like an alt flute or something, because there's a trap when you have all these orchestral samples and all these instruments, that you can sort of move away very far from the real thing. And that's fine sometimes, but it has to be a conscious decision. So I listen a lot, like regularly, to like John Williams tracks or like real orchestral stuff. And then it's like, maybe I went too far, or because I like the things to sound realistic. Sometimes like I get orchestrations, like I work for other bands, and there's also what you were saying with the 10-finger strings, like there was also this thing like that with woodwinds, like you have horns, and then there's like the clarinet and the flute are like louder than the horn, and everything is there. Like that's the biggest trap with orchestration, and that's everything is playing all the time. And it's like that's a trap, because what's so great about it is that you can use color. Like in this case, there's brass, and then you see in the next part, it's going to be more strings again. And that's also like appealing when you're listening to a song.
Yeah, you get contrast.
Contrast
and color, instead of having the same thing going on over the song.
Yeah, because here you have a couple of bars. There's essentially no strings. And we just had a bunch of strings in the intro, so here it gives a break, and then now in this part there's like a tempo change, and I wanted this song to build from a creepy intro and then to really hit it hard with double bass part and like guitars, and then I wanted to go even faster, like I don't know, like take it another level. So if you listen to this, you get it. So then the strings are back, piano is coming in, and there's like actually harmonies going on. That's a big contrast from the previous part where it was just those big horns.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it works. Yeah.
Did you see that you changed the way you arrange orchestral stuff like 15 years ago up until today? Did you refine something, or did you do things back then that you still do or don't do anymore because of whatever reasons?
Yeah, I think I do less. There's like, especially when we started, I put a ton of stuff, and I also played a ton of stuff live. Because like, yeah, I was younger and you want to do everything, and you want to it's the ego, like I'm 16 and I want to play everything live and I want to put everything in there, and like later on you start to, yeah, you throw away the ego. It's like, okay, the guitar is great here, I don't need to play anything here, or it's like just those brass notes, and or the drums are like in the front here, so you start more thinking about the result. Yeah, in this case, like it's pretty simple. There's like a great harmony going on, and you have some violas, some cello, and it's enough. So
yeah,
like I could put another library, I could put even bigger strings, but why? It's like, yeah, it works. So I think it's more like less is more, and that's also like these days, like when you go on YouTube, I mean, we're making a movie ourselves now, but there's like also a lot of misinformation and people saying how you should do all of this, and there's just not one right way. And
no, it's art.
It's art, and yeah, you should find the sounds that you like, and when you think it's great, then it's great, and everyone else can shut up. And so yeah, and I think more also about the orchestra, like, is this playable? And oftentimes it's not, but then I know that I'm going off the grid in that sense. So yeah, I think some things have developed. I do less is more. Yeah, for sure.
Would you enjoy having one day an album where an actual orchestra played it off the score that you wrote?
I think it would be cool.
Or do you think it may also be a limitation then?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a session like this, like you see how much manipulation there's going on, and also weird things, so you would have to re-orchestrate it also just for the purpose of the orchestra. But I think it would be great, and it would even be more realistic, and it would add something magical to it. But I also just like to mess around, like manipulate sounds and just experiment. Like I spend hours with this stuff, and it's also a kind of freedom that you can just throw in a synthesizer and then go back to orchestra and combine them. And I think that's the great thing of having all these tools. 20 years ago, we didn't have all these possibilities. It went really fast. Also the computer power, like I remember 14 years ago, like my computer was crashing all the time. I had to spend a lot of money, like a lot on computer power, and also all these libraries. And now they just go like this. It's like nothing. You can put it on your phone.
And if I think about libraries, the first sample I had, it had 32 megabyte of sample RAM. That was
Amazing.
it. So
yeah.
It was like you had one velocity, sometimes was loaded the trumpet, and it was like it was one note per note. So there was no round robins, no velocity, it was the one.
Yeah, this is where really the orchestra comes in and sort of moves it into a conclusion. So then I put more, like actually put some winds, flutes, clarinet, piccolo, especially runs. Like this is just a run, simple run. Like it adds something extra, especially with those violin runs. Like, so it starts with the violins, then the winds come in to take it up. Like, sounds pretty happy like this, but in the context, it works. So in the experience for the listener, especially because this is the end, it really is like, oh, there was an orchestra all along. Although we've seen that a lot of stuff is actually very minimalistic at times. I think that's cool because I pick my moments because like here I think there are not a lot of vocals. The drums are sort of slowing down. The guitars are like slowing down. So here's space. So here I go in like runs and the timpani and the horns. And that like has an effect on how you experience a song. What I said before, like you think, oh yeah, this orchestra has been there the whole song.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was really very interesting. If anybody wants to see how all these ingredients have been cooked together, then yeah, stay tuned for the follow-up video with the mix deconstruction. And yeah, Clemens, thanks a lot for your time and showing some of these raw tracks. That's amazing. Any famous last words?
No, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. Like, it's kind of cool because I almost never show this. I think never. I live with this for years. like you, a lot of it happens in the computer. But I hope that the people see that there's a lot of thought and emotion and yeah, effort going into it, and that it's not just like, oh, it's done in the computer, whatever. Like, no, it's actually like we both use it as a tool, and so I hope that people can see that they learned something, maybe they can implement it themselves. Like, it would be cool. Yeah. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you, and talk soon, and have a nice, what is it? It's day for you, evening for me. So have a nice whatever. Bye-bye.
Ciao.